Hey all, we're going to do a tutorial on how to fix a PS2 controller. I do repairs for shops, and then might as well do a tutorial on this. This one says that directional pads, R1, L2, none of them are working. So let's get rid of that. So I already know the issue on this, and the issue is that the membrane on the inside is bad. So we're going to replace the membrane on this. So first things we got to do is take all the screws out. There's 6. 2, 4, 6 screws. Let's do that now. Now that we got all the screws out, this one actually broke the post, so we're going to leave it be. But take this off. We'll just set it aside. We don't need it anymore. We're going to move our screws out of the way. Next thing we got to do is just pop this out. Wait, sorry. We have one more. We got to take this screw out too. So take that out, and then the whole thing should just come popping out. Now try to leave those in there as much as you can. Leave everything in the actual controller. But otherwise, this whole thing should come out. And then we got this. Now, the issue is this membrane right here. Just have a PC board, they use a plastic membrane. And that's what we've got to replace. So, first things first, get our scissors out, and we're going to chop this off. So that's chopped. And then this, let's take these off. And I always pull them off and set them in the right orientation, like that, so that I know where and how they go. And then right here, they come off there, and comes off here. And then since we cut that, the rest of it will come off too. Let me check that. All right. And I'm going to move to the microscope for the next part. Alright, I've got this set up in my microscope and my little clamps. The next part is to get this bracket off. Sadly, this does not allow the cable to come in and out, so we have to take the whole bracket off. And so I will just add some flux to it, and I'm going to simply flood it with solder until it comes off. You could probably use hot air or something like that if you would like. This is easy for me to do. And so I just load it up real good until there's lots and lots of solder in here. And then I just back and forth real quick, and off it comes. And then we can clean these up just like that. Nice and easy. Now, I always clean my surface before I put the new stuff on. So let's clean this good. And it is ready to go for the new part. All right. Now that we've got our connector removed, we're going to need to place this on here. Now, these are made so poorly, because they're, Chinese fun, is that this portion here that folds up in here doesn't fit. And so we have to trim both sides of these on both triggers. And so I always look out for the traces on here, and I'll trim pretty close to it. And I'll go off the edge on both sides. That way they fit in this housing. Otherwise they don't, and they don't sit right, and they bulge, and it just makes for not a fun time trying to get this in. But be careful not to trim past the traces, or you will just destroy it. and then you get to do it all over again. Okay, but once we've got that, you notice we got two sides here. We got a matte side on this and a shiny side. The shiny side needs to go down. And so what I find is you click those in the corners here, and then it holds it in place. And then these just kind of bend over like that. And as long as they don't bulge out, see, I probably could trim just a little bit more on that side. Let's see if it works. See what that side looks good. We could stick this on here and see how it fits. Should be all right. Same on this side. So we'll put that there. Just kind of push this in here. Fits pretty good. Okay. Now the next part is we need to take this ribbon cable, and if you notice there's no connector on it. So this comes in. It's an 18-pin adapter for these ribbon cables. Now I can't put it on yet because then it won't fit through the board. So I have to put it through this section first. Like so. And then I need to put it on, which sometimes can be a pain because of the force and trying to hold it. It went on pretty decent that time, but we got it on because there's 18 pins on here, and then I'll show you in a second there's 19 pins on here. But let's get this back on the microscope and we'll put that on. Okay, next portion of this is that we need to attach this new bracket onto our board. So we'll start with some flux. And then part of the tricky part for me is holding this bracket in just right. I can usually hold it with my hands fine, but it doesn't look so awesome on the camera. There it is. So I'll try to do my best. So the other thing is I pre-tin my iron just to get this kind of going. So I'll add some solder to my iron, and then I'll try to get this lined up. And then, as I mentioned earlier, this bracket has 18 pins, and you want, on this view, you want it furthest to the left, because if you look at this very right-hand pin, it doesn't go anywhere. It goes to nothing. So it's just like a dummy pin. Like I said, the hardest part is getting this just lined up and held in place. So let's see if I can focus better for you. Just like that, you can see all the pins are perfectly lined up, and I've pre-tinned my iron. So I'm just going to go ahead and tack a few of these down. And then it'll stay in place. And then from that point on, all the rest of the pins will be in place, and I can solder these without any issue. Make sure you get enough heat, enough solder on those that they'll make good contact. Okay, let's go ahead and validate this. They all look pretty good. Okay, now they all look good. Let's clean it off. Put it back together. That was it. We're done at this point. So it does look a little crooked, but it's okay. It totally will work. And as you can see right here, this pin, where it goes to nothing. And so we want to make sure our 18 pins are justified to this side when we put it on. All right, now that we've got our ribbon cable soldered in and everything, we need to put this all back together. Part of the fun is always remembering where everything goes. But this goes around here and then angles through this. And out. That's our strain relief. There we go. Okay, so now that that's around and through, we can push everything back in. Sometimes I have to move the thumb connectors. Sometimes I have to move this light so everything goes back into place. Once you hit this post on here, we know we're in a good spot. So let's put that back in. We think we're home free, but there's one other issue that we've got to pay attention to. See, and I've lost a button. Let's see. Okay. That was not in right. Okay, it's much easier to check these now. They feel good. And then these look good at this point, but I'll hit these up in a moment. So when we're putting this shell on, these have to be flat against this. Otherwise, when you put them on, they'll bend up like this and they won't work. So I find it's best to put it upside down, make these flat like this, put it upside down, and then put them in ever so carefully against the bottom of these triggers. And what I'll even do sometimes is I'll have my pad tester pulled up on the TV, and I'll put these in and test them. So just like that, I'll put these in and test them. See, this one didn't get in right. I find this the hardest part of the whole process. It's just getting those in correctly. So that one's still not in right, but once you get these put in right, you just screw it back together and you're done. And we have a working controller. Okay. But that's it. We screw it back together, we test the buttons, we're done. And we have completely fixed this PlayStation 2 controller. Cool. That's it. That's it. Done and easy. Thanks, guys.